Hey everyone, welcome back to Thrasher, Skate and Destroy. I'm Insetic, again with me is Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
And we are still going to get Skater of the Year, trying to beat the ultimate high scores. Now we're on to the second half of the game, the last 6 levels of 12, but, now we're into the LA courthouse. And so once again, just same thing it kind of does in every other playthrough, the normal and the expert. I kind of struggle with the flow of the level and what exactly to go for.
Yeah. We've mentioned it before, and it's the levels laid out like a real courthouse area might be, and that doesn't really serve its gameplay purpose that well. There are a couple small lines, but besides that, it's basically just an area with some things.
Right. It feels like other levels, even where they're empty, there's a point to it or there's stuff hidden in it, like the LA River. You might think that's really empty, but you can grind a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Here it is a lot of just flat ground that links different areas together, sort of. So you do have to think really well about what trick you're going to go for exactly. Even watching this, I've played more since then, and I can get higher scores, but watching this, I still feel like if I booted the game up right now, I'd probably play this in the exact same kind of way, going for the exact same kind of things. I can't see out, like, okay, now I know that this is the best kind of
place to be. Or
Right.
Yeah. This is kind of the thing. This is part of the reason why I'm terrible at extreme sports games. Like, when I'm looking at an extreme sports game, I'm looking at it... I do much better in a linear thing. When I'm able to kind of explore the level, I'm terrible at this. Just knowing the level layout and planning where I'm going to go. Instead, I just see, oh, there's a thing in front of me. I guess I'll trick on that. And now I'm turned around, so I guess I'll go trick on that thing now. And that's kind of the only way you can play this level, which kind of stinks.
Oh man,
here we go.
Another cover though, because we just got through LA. What kind of sick shot does Insetic take?
Not your worst.
Would have been better if I was mid-trick,
Yeah, or maybe more zoomed in.
Yeah. Cyrus is on his board, in the air, going down these stairs. Yeah. One thing I am seeing looking back at this playthrough though, and again, to kind of reiterate what I've said a bunch, this was basically me verifying I could beat a level's, highest high score, and then backing back up, starting recording and going for it, is that I wasn't really paying too much attention to my grinds. I was just kind of making sure that I did grind when I wanted to. So you'll see a bunch of 50-50 or no slide or tail slide. Maybe I was holding up or down, but that was about as much thought as I was putting into it, when grinds really are just as important as everything else is in this game. Just like I've been telling you over and over to vary up your flip tricks to make sure you're keeping them fresh and get points, and go for the higher scoring flip tricks, to make sure you're not just doing kick flips over and over. You should be varying up your grinds, and you don't just have up, down, left, right. You have diagonals from the start of the game, and since you're going for the highest high scores and you have everything, you have some of the L1 triangle grinds as well. And so if you go for some of those, you might get a couple extra 100 points in a trick, base trick, which then with your multiplier might get you an extra 1,000. And again, you're fighting to get 30,000, 40,000, so an extra 1,000 off a single trick will help.
Yeah.
So making sure you're using a wide variety of grinds is just as important as everything else. But also, along with this variety, gotta keep it unique sort of thing, remember that this game isn't some human teacher with perfect memory. You can do a trick line, a trick combo, then do some other tricks, and then do that exact same combo, and it'll be worth the same amount.
Now,
this game, wants to make sure you don't do trick A, followed by trick A, followed by trick A, but...
It's trick A!
Trick A! Yeah, I wasn't even knowing I was doing that, but...
No, you said it's not a human teacher or whatever. It's actually, that must have been intentional, because they could have easily just made it let's just make a list as you play through the level, and, as soon as it's on the list, it's suddenly worth less points, and there's no expiration to that. So they must have intended that, where, oh shit,
right.
They want you to to do the same tricks again, but wait a little bit in between and do some other stuff in between.
Right. Yeah. Another thing I want to touch on with kind of my advice for how to clear these scores is, and I know this isn't the advice a lot of people want to hear, but sometimes it is just best if you're really struggling to put the game down for the day and come back later.
Yeah.
I was trying to do all of these kind of in one big session, and you could see in China Banks right there, that was sort of when I was really getting burned out. I struggled to get through that. I made a bunch of minor mistakes. I barely got through it, and I wasn't really enjoying myself, and I was finally just like, okay, I need to put this down, come back later. I can't do all 12 levels, in one day. And you can already see this is the first level I'm playing the next day, and I'm already doing much better, just more confident,
Yeah. And that's good advice just generally in life. You want to pull back a little bit. Don't take everything, like, you don't have to, there's almost nothing in life you have to do in one go. You usually have time to kind of just relax and do well, and then when you stop doing well, just pause and come back when it's time to do well again.
I know it's just one of those bits of advice that everyone knows, but people, would rather, if something's in front of them, they'd rather just get it done. And I'm one of those people. And
it's also a feeling of, and this is a thing that happens in pretty much all forms of entertainment and gaming and stuff. You get this feeling like, I'm supposed to be enjoying myself, and the fact that I'm not enjoying myself at this moment either means that the entertainment itself is bad, or I'm bad. I'm doing it wrong. And a lot of times it's really just a matter of, like, we're not built to constantly enjoy everything all the time. If you're not enjoying playing the game, that doesn't mean the game is bad. It doesn't mean that you're bad. You might just not be in the mood for it. You might not be at your peak performance for it.
Right. Right.
So sometimes, you're like, why am I doing so badly in this game, can just put you in a spiral, and then you're not doing well, even worse.
Yeah.
And we all fall trapped to that. Oh man, the dog.
Yeah, I remember way back when I kind of started this series, one of the first games I bought to replay was Jet X2O. That's one of the games I was most excited to play because it was so unknown, so underrepresented, and I remember loving it as a kid. Well, if you don't remember or hadn't seen that series, that's one of those games where, sure, when you place first, you get a lot of points, but you can get second or third and still get some points, albeit less, and you need to, it's racing and tricking, so you're kind of competing in both to get to, to place high and get the most points. And eventually, in my first replay through, I got to a point where I'd kind of lagged behind in points, and I needed to get first in both the racing and tricking part of a level on the hardest level to do so, Aquatica, if you do remember that game. And I just struggled for hours, and finally I stopped, genuinely thinking, well, I don't think I'll be able to do this game. Thinking, I can't get through the full game, I won't do it unless I can get through the full game. Dang, that sucks. Next day, went and did my college classes and whatever, came back, beat it like second try.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And you can get like long-term burned out if you put too much time into it, if you don't give yourself a break. Like, Saints Row 2, love the game. You were a big fan of Saints Row 2, right?
Right.
And like I wanted to get like some of the events and like not side quests, but like
side activities.
That's the word. They had like rankings, right? And so some of them did, I think.
Like online rankings?
No,
I don't.
Wasn't there?
Like local?
Saints too, like bronze, silver, gold, like with the races and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I really enjoyed the game. I would do the races, and I was like, my first playthrough, I was trying to go for gold on every single one because I wanted to like just have 100% done by the end of it. When really, what I should have done was just played through the game, just do the bare minimum activities, and then go back through and get golds on everything.
Right.
That would have extended my enjoyment of the game, because I'd be seeing new and fresh things that the game was showing me, and I'd be able to go back and get extra time on it instead of getting most of the way through the game and then getting so frustrated with like 3 or 4 races that I just put the game down for months. Right. That's a bad cover, my dude. You're bad at this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There are other games where. I was going to bring up Prototype as an example of that, but Prototype is unsatisfying even if you do it the way I just described. So it's not a great game.
Right.
But I did do that with... See, the thing is, like, some games you can do, like, a 100% playthrough in the first go, and that's when, like I did that with Prototype 2. I did that in one go. In one afternoon, I did the entire 100% playthrough. Not hard. And then, Star Wars Force Unleashed, I did a hard... My first playthrough was on hard, and then I just had to do it on the hardest difficulty, and then I had all the achievements.
Right.
Yeah. And so, like, was that a frustrating mess? You bet. You bet. Yeah. I should have spread it out a little bit. Because you don't have to do all the... you don't have to do it perfect every time. Right. And you can come back to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. It's my instinct to try to go for everything on the first go, the second go, Right. But, like, that's a bad way. Like, if I really enjoy a game, why wouldn't I want to extend my time with the game?
Right.
I
think something kind of like that, not exactly like that, is why... there were moments, there were parts of my life, this is a really weird way of putting it, but, back in the day I used to do Halo 3 and Halo Reach speedruns. Yeah. And I was doing SSX speedruns, a few years ago or whatever, and even kind of streaming a bunch of them. And I really did burn myself out on those, because it just got to a point where I was realizing I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and only succeeding 1% of the time, maybe even less. And that's the whole point, and to some people it's about the journey, destination, and chat interaction and all that. But to me, I just kind of realized, I'm not having anything, much to show for the hours I'm putting in. That's kind of why... in these game series, I, play, understand a game enough to know if I can get through it, and then kind of record it and move on. I really do only play games nowadays to make a public series out of them. Yeah. I don't do a lot of casual gaming in my free time.
Personal gaming.
Personal gaming. Yeah.
You do play a lot of Candy Crush.
Right.
So much Candy Crush.
I will wreck you on Candy Crush.
He will hit you so hard with that lollipop hammer that your skull will crack. Your brains will be on the floor like taffy.
Yeah.
Because it's a kind of candy. Because he's killed you with Candy Crush.
Right.
I don't know anything else about Candy Crush.
But I guess ultimately, I just... and maybe if I had 200 people regularly watching me on Twitch and I had a ton of interaction, it'd be slightly different, but I don't want to go down that road because that just sounds like blaming your non-fans, but it just... I don't know. It got to me.
So this is why we don't want to do there's a specific game in mind. You don't want to do a stream of it because it would be kind of frustrating for the reasons you listed. You wouldn't want to do a speedrun of it. That's why I'm so glad we're doing a full LP.
Oh god.
Gravity Games Bike Stream.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
You knew exactly. Yeah.
Bob only knows
There's only
one
like
extreme
games.
Sports game that's not one that I love.
Yeah.
And that's Gravity Games Bike. Oh god.
Well, I know lots of games you don't love.
Right.
You just don't hate them.
Right.
Oh man, I really want to see that full LP.
Jesus. And I stand by what I said. If
you can
I ever go do a full LP, I will make sure I can actually get through the game, because that's always a qualifier. Yeah. That's always a qualifier. I try my hardest to get through a game before just doing a Let's Play. But B, I will have recorded all footage before I go to make a video for episode 1 and get commentary, because
How'd you crash there? Very carefully?
Yeah, very carefully.
Okay. But yeah, you will have all the footage.
Yeah. And that's the biggest if in the world.
Now, I got another question for you.
Yes.
Would you consider doing a full LP of Gravity Games Bike Street Dirt if we could port all the levels to Thug Pro.
Oh, jeez.
And then you could just play through them in Thug Pro.
I don't know.
I mean,
that's
it just occurred to me because like now you don't have to play with Gravity Game Spike's horrible mechanics.
You know, honestly, that the horrible mechanics are 99% of that game's awfulness. So possibly,
yeah, right. Like we could finally take a look at the levels.
Interesting segue to that. You know, one cool thing I could try. You know, geez.
Wow,
I suck.
Like, can I try this one?
No.
I mean, like, genuinely, can I?
What? Okay.
Now you have a PC.
Right.
So if you wanted to do Thug Pro or other PC games...
Right.
That's not your worst cover.
Now I could emulate Gravity Game Spike in that crystal clear, crisp. Or I could do Thug Pro crap. Or, now I have an actual PC. You know, I've been running off laptops for forever. Because, you know, I had a laptop all of college, and then I just kind of got comfortable with that. Now we're Thrasher of the Year. Yeah, no, in Skater, Thrash, and Destroy.
Nice.
And so that's what we get. We get our cool acknowledgement. So yeah, I have a PC now that can presumably play modern games.
Yeah,
so like perhaps I could move up to emulating stuff that's more resource intensive. Like I tried my best at, you know, PlayStation 2 emulation on the laptop and it wasn't working, but maybe now I can. Or maybe now I can look at some of the PC-only games.
There was that Mountain Dew game that we weren't able to get running.
Right.
We might be able to find an emulated version of that.
Right. Or I could show off some of the PC stuff, you know,
like
on a rail,
Session.
Session Alpha. I mean, Session's coming to consoles now. But,
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's coming to Xbox. But yeah, that could be an avenue I could explore, or maybe some other thoughts now that I do have something that might be able to run games, but alright.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, if you're in the comments and you're like, oh man, there's this game they haven't mentioned, mention it in the comments. We probably didn't even think of it.
Right, old and new. Like Bob said, we found some old Mountain Dew sponsored.
Now, we should say Big Mac 93 sent us that game.
I
think it was him.
Okay.
Way back when.
Yeah.
There was this Mountain Dew extreme sports game.
Right.
I don't even remember what it was called.
Mountain Dew something Boards and Blades.
Boards and Blades, that was it, Boards and Blades.
But
Boards and Blades Warband.
Yeah. One more thing I want to say. So we've gotten through those Thrasher levels and we got Skater of the Year. But like I said, I continued playing this game because I did want to do better. I did want to get higher scores. And you know, I'm thinking for the bonus video, I should, and you know what? I've already done this, so this is what I'm going to do.
Should have done.
I should and did. I'm going to go for the highest scores I can. I'm going to do a bonus video showing you my high scores. And you know what? All those people who are like, man, stop talking over this gameplay footage. You know what? I turned off the music. I'm not going to have, you know, speaking over it. It's just going to be solid, you know, gameplay from Thrasher.
And for all you haters going, Insect is so bad at Vigio James.
Yeah.
You can beat his high score and post your scores, and if you don't, you're a pussy.
But you know what? You know what would be a good goal, and you know what would be the perfect aesthetic goal? What if I could get 147,000 more points than I did to get these high scores.
That too.
I had basically 463,000 across the levels here. What if I could get up to 600K?
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. So
and by let's, I mean
I
you
will.
must have.
So wait a week and you'll see my bonus videos. So yeah, thanks for watching.